Hey guys, this is Isaiah and Kellen here with episode 2 of the Sporting Guys. You guys loved episode 1, and I hope you love episode 2 just as much.
Yeah, guys, I want to thank you for being so supportive with episode 1. We came back with episode 2 here tonight. We're going to be talking about MLB, NBA, college basketball, and the NFL draft.
MLB free agency is at its peak right now, and who do you honestly think has made the best move so far?
There are a lot of teams out there that have made good moves. Anaheim Angels, the newly named Miami Marlins, and the Washington Nationals all made good moves. I think the Miami Marlins made the best move, though. They brought in Carlos Zambrano, Jose Reyes at shortstop, maybe him and Hanley Ramirez go at second base shortstop. I just think that they made the best moves because they weren't scared to go out there and get players, and their new name, their new jerseys, and their new team looks to win this year. Who do you think made the best moves?
I think if we're going moves as far as free agent pickups alone, I'm going to have to go with the Angels. Anybody who can bring in a top talent like Albert Pujols, who's going to get you 100-plus RBIs and 30-plus home runs every year, you can't go wrong with that. And a team like the Nationals, who have been a disgrace in the league for several years now, just the fact that they're getting healthy, that's something that can really take them over the top. We forget that Tommy John surgery kept their best pitcher out. This is a guy who throws over 100-mile-an-hour fastball, Steven Strasburg, and he kind of went under the radar since he missed a whole year. And bringing in Prince Fielder really cannot hurt their chances.
You're right. It's good to see those big-name guys go to those smaller-name teams, and I'm going to disagree with you with the
Angels.
Angels because they're bringing in all those big-name guys just like the Miami Heat and the Clippers, and I don't like that because baseball is you definitely need to be together out there on the field, flipping double plays. Who's cutting off, who's going out the outfield to help. And when players are doing what they want to do, I think it can definitely affect the chemistry in the dugout, in the locker room, and on the field. So those big-name guys all together, like in the NBA we're seeing now, those super teams, sometimes they can just be a mess. And I don't know if that's what happened with the Angels, but I wouldn't like to see it. So that's why I went with the Miami Marlins.
I think that we could possibly see what we saw with the Yankees with him when they brought in Pujols and when they brought in Jeter and when they brought in Clemens, is there were a couple of ego issues with those three guys all together on the same team, and even with a guy like Mariano Rivera being a veteran guy who can still play, those guys kind of overshadowed him and he didn't like that. And I'm thinking we might see some issues like that with the Angels, but it's too early to tell.
Yeah, we'll just see how the season plays out. It's looking like it's going to be a good year.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's move on to the next question.
And the NBA is going on right now as well, and it's good to see guys like Kyrie Irving taking over as a leader on the team, and that's exactly what I'm seeing with the Cavaliers. Do you think they can be back to a team who can win and make the playoffs with him playing well along with Antoine Jameson and Verjao? Do you think that they can make it to the playoffs and win some games out there, or do you think they're still a little bit too young?
It's not necessarily them being young. I think it's the same problem they have with LeBron. You have a superstar, but there's no help around him. Antoine Jameson is a good player, but he's not great. Verjao is also a good player, but he's not great. And who else on that team is going to be able to score 20 points or 30 points when Kyrie Irving has an off game? You can't rely on him to make every shot, and we still have yet to see if he can make the big shot in the clutch. So I think that they're on the right track once again, but just like the problem with LeBron, they're going to have to bring some pieces around him.
You're right. I think we're going to see what happened in Washington last year with John Wall. He was a good player, but he didn't have anyone around him really. And even out there in Washington, they had more players around him than Kyrie Irving does in Cleveland. So I think Kyrie Irving's going the right direction, and I think he can definitely be a winner in this league and lead his team to big things. But I Don't see it happening with the Cleveland Cavaliers just yet. Maybe a little bit in the future, but he shows promise.
Yeah, not right now at all.
All right, let's move on to the next question.
All right, college basketball season is fresh, just like NBA season is. And these guys are playing hard, and just like every year in college basketball, you can't really predict who's going to win this thing. But if you had to make a bold prediction, who would you say takes it all this year?
I'm going to go with the number 1 seed right now, and that's Syracuse. They look good out there. They're well coached. They have good chemistry. But the team I want everyone to stay away from when making your brackets is Baylor. I saw them play a couple times. They're sloppy. They're pretty selfish as a team, and I don't see them even going to the Final Four this year, despite having a good record. So I'm going to go Syracuse. Who are you thinking?
I love North Carolina. I think they're playing great basketball. Their X Factor, Strickland, he's really good. He kind of flies under the radar, but he's a great player. They have great ball control. They're very disciplined, and at times they try to be a little flashy, but that comes with most young teams. But I think this team's going to be able to overcome a lot of things, and I could see them taking it all this year.
Well, you said it. They're a young team, and that could definitely impede them from going places. But I like what you said, that they are young, and they do have energy to win. So that's a good pick as well. I like that one.
Yeah, they tire a lot of teams out.
All right. They like to run.
All right, let's move on to our final question.
Well, hold on, who's asking? This may be a little early, but as NFL playoffs get going, it's always fun to talk about the draft. We got Tampa Bay at number 5. Who do you see them drafting this year?
Surprisingly, I could see Tampa Bay taking a guy like Robert Griffin III. I love Josh Freeman as a quarterback out there, but I don't think that the Buccaneers organization is completely sold on him. But running that West Coast style offense, I definitely think that they need a guy who's mobile and who can also at times stand tall in the pocket and make accurate throws. And I think the best guy who has those abilities in the draft is the Heisman Trophy winner, Robert Griffin.
I'm just shaking my head over here because I totally disagree with you. Josh Freeman is a good quarterback. He doesn't have anyone around him really to help show off his talent. And Robert Griffin, if he went to Tampa Bay, he would just sit behind Josh Freeman is what I'm feeling. So I think taking him would be a waste of a pick. So I see them going after a guy like Morris Claiborne as the cornerback out of LSU, or Drake Kirkpatrick, the cornerback out of Alabama, because those guys are good defenders and they can really help the defense as a young spark. And I could also see them maybe going after Justin Blackman at Oklahoma State to give Josh Freeman that help. So any one of those guys could really help this team with their young and their talent.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with any of those guys.
So number 4, Cleveland. Who do you see them taking?
I could see Cleveland taking a quarterback as well, but I don't see Robert Griffin fitting their offense. So I think they are going to wait another year for maybe Landry Jones, who recently said that he's going to stay for a senior year, and Matt Barkley as well. So I think they actually might trade out of this pick. Maybe a team like San Diego moves up, but I'm not sure that they're going to actually select anyone with it. I think this is a very valuable pick, and they're going to be looking to give it away.
So who do you think San Diego's going to give Cleveland?
Who do I think they're going to give Cleveland for the pick, or who they're going to take?
Who do you think San Diego's going to give Cleveland for the pick, and who do you think San Diego ends up taking?
I don't think they'll get rid of any players. I think they're going to trade, a couple 3s, 4, some future draft picks. That's what we see a lot of times in these situations. And I could see them taking any kind of defensive tackle because they have been. We've seen running backs all over the AFC West destroy them. Even Willis McGahee, who is having a pretty good year, but at the end of the day, he's not an outstanding back.
You're definitely right there, but I don't see San Diego trading for the pick. I see someone like Miami or Buffalo trading their first round as well as like the 4th or 5th round for that number 4 pick, and I could see Buffalo or Miami taking, like you said, a defensive tackle or even an offensive lineman like Riley Leaf out of Iowa. they need that help on both sides of their lines, and that offensive help for Reggie Bush and Fred Jackson, as well as C.J. Spiller and Ryan Fitzpatrick.
I like Spiller.
Go ahead.
I really do. I like Spiller. I think that they can actually use Spiller as that key side of the on that side of the ball. Spiller and Johnson, they're great offensive players. It's just Johnson has a temper, or not a temper, attitude that goes along with him, a lot like Terrell Owens had. I mean, he's gonna get you a lot of yards. He's gonna get you some touchdowns, but you also have to take the negative side with him too.
You're right. I like that comparison of T.O. with not only the talent, but that chip on his shoulder, and he just wants to be better. I agree with you. I like C.J. Spiller. I can see him playing that role next year when Fred Jackson comes back, almost like a Reggie Bush role, like he played in New Orleans, like a slot receiver, running back, and picking up yards. So I could see Cleveland trading to either one of those teams. But number 3 pick is the Minnesota Vikings, and they had a rookie quarterback, rattled running back, receivers are pretty talented. Who do you see them taking?
You said receivers pretty talented, and that's where I'm going to have to disagree with you at. I love Percy Harvin, but Percy Harvin's alone out there. And they have a great tight end, but he's going to need more help than that. And I could see this being the pick that Justin Blackmon actually falls into. Because we're seeing with big receivers like Brandon Marshall, Dwayne Bowe, and Calvin Johnson that these bigger guys are what's successful in the league right now. So I think they take the biggest guy out, the biggest, the strongest, and Blackmon is a hard worker, so I think Blackmon could go to the Minnesota Vikings.
I like what you said about Blackmon being a hard worker, because he is, and he's also Des Bryant with a head. He can keep his temper, so I think he could go in that number 3 slot to Minnesota out there to help Percy Harvin and Vashante Shanko. So that's a good pick. Who do you see St. Louis taking with a new coach coming in? Hopefully Sam Bradford can come back from injuries. Who do you see the St. Louis Rams taking at number 2?
St. Louis definitely needs a tackle. I think this is a no-brainer. Sam Bradford's always on the ground. He's always injured. And we really can't call exactly which tackle is going to be the guy they take until we see combine work, until we see how they all test out and who actually comes out of the draft. It's kind of early, but I think they will definitely be taking a left tackle with that second pick.
Yeah, they need to protect Bradford back there. He's always on the ground, and that's why he's hurt all the time. So I could see him taking someone like Matt Khalil out of USC or Jonathan Martin out of Stanford. Those guys both could help keep Bradford healthy and on his feet. So Indianapolis, number 1. Who do you see him taking? This is pretty obvious.
Well, it's obvious to a certain extent. This one's going to be kind of controversial because I don't think Peyton Manning wants to have anything to do with Andrew Luck, and I'm not sure if Andrew Luck wants to have anything to do with Peyton Manning because Luck doesn't want to be sitting on the bench, and if he goes to Indianapolis, he's going to be sitting there for at least 3 years. And Manning doesn't want to have a guy looking over his shoulder, inevitably shortening his career, because he has a 3-year max if they draft Luck. So I think that they could possibly trade the pick because the value is high, but if not, they're obviously taking Luck.
I do think it's obvious. I do think they're going to take Andrew Luck, and I do think that Peyton Manning is going to welcome the fact to be a mentor like Brett Favre was to Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. I think he wants to be that character, and I think he wants to help Andrew Luck carry on the franchise of the Indianapolis Colts just as he did for so many years. So I think that both those guys want Andrew Luck to end up in Indianapolis. So I think they're definitely going to take Andrew Luck without trading out.
All right, thanks, guys. This is our second episode of Sporting Guys, and we hope you enjoy it. Please support, please subscribe, please share this with your friends, and we'll be back on Monday with another video.
Yeah, we appreciate it, guys. Our Twitter account's at SportingGuys, and our email is sportingguys1@yahoo.com. Ask us questions, give us topics. We'd appreciate that. And we'd like to thank our tech producer, JD, for helping us out with an intro and music and stuff. We really appreciate what he's doing for us, too. So thanks, JD. We'll talk to you guys later.